Well, one of the things that I became aware of as I began to work with CEOs around the country is that there had been a minimization of them as far as being called to what they do. Henry Blackaby is one of my heroes, and he made this comment one time. He said, "I believe God is saying the world has had my people long enough. I'm going to take them back and place them in key positions." And I began to watch that happen. I began to watch God call men and women, and he began to place them in key leadership in corporate America. And as he began to do that, I began to watch a lot of companies change, both in their values and in the way they conducted business, because these men had a higher calling than just to take a CEO position. They had been called by God. I have an opportunity many times to speak to Christian university students, both in the business school and in their chapel services. And one of the things I try to emphasize as we talk to them is for them to realize that it isn't just pastors who are called, it isn't just missionaries who are called, but they are called in their business. And let me give you an illustration. Business students are called as much as pastors or missionaries. And I've had student after student come up to me afterward when I've finished and said, "I can't tell you what a relief it is to know that I have a divine calling to go into business." Let me give you an example. 10 years ago, I had one of our men call me, and he said, "I've been asked to head up a company. We're going to merge two companies, and I've been asked to take that position." And he asked me a very interesting question. He said, "Should I be doing this, or should I be going into ministry?" And I said, "How big of a congregation do you want?" And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, who do you know that's 40 years of age, that has an opportunity to be over 40,000 employees and a budget of $15 billion? He said, "I don't know anyone." I said, "I don't either, except you." Well, they didn't merge. 6 months later, he came back because they were going to make him CEO, and he asked me the same question, and I asked him the questions back that I just said. Well, 10 years now has passed, and on his 10th anniversary, I called him and I said, "I want to know, do you still feel called where you are?" And he said, "Oh, absolutely." But what's been interesting to watch is how he has led this company from a spiritual perspective. It's a publicly traded company, so he's got to be very careful how he handles that. But he has led with a man of character and conviction, and knows that his faith is in God and God can guide him, and he's become the leader in this industry. So when I began to see that men were and women were struggling with this, my goodness, they do have a ministry, a huge ministry. It just isn't in the sight of four walls of a church, but it's their employees. So I think calling is very important.